So, Capcom Monster Hunter patch notes be like...
Alright then, keep your secrets.
Hello, my fellow hunters. It is mere hours now until Title Update 1 graces us, and I am, for Title Update 1, very excited. Now, would you like some update information? Also known as the full patch notes for Title Update 1 or version 1.010.0. There's some standard stuff in here, but there's also some very interesting stuff. This is obvious and was already said, but of course you have to get the title update before you're allowed to play online again, so we don't versus and mismatch with each other, and then let's roll into it. So these are your headline features, the things that, you know, they obviously put in trailers, and so on and so forth. We've got Mizutsune, once you get to HR 21, with speaking to Kenya, and then Tempered Mizutsune just populating the map in general after HR 41 and doing Kenya's Fisher Fellow mission. And I still love so much that Mizutsune is apparently the ultimate fish. HR 50 for Shia, and then this is interesting to me. New story, extra, and side missions have been added. I'm assuming that the new side mission is the Mizutsune one. The story, of course, will be the Shia, but is there going to be like a couple of other extra just new side missions in general? Because I could see that happening, popping up around the various villages, so that's worth having a look for. Then we've got new weapons, armor, and skills. That makes sense. We've got the Mizutsune, the Shia sets, and their weapons, but new skills confirms that they will have, well, unique skills to them, whether it's both or just one of them, but this, while very likely, is nice to have as a sure thing. Then we've got more upgrades on our armor for armor, and that's kind of norm with the title updates to get more defense as monsters start hitting harder. Then at the Grand Hub at HR 16, we knew about that, as we did about basically all of the rest of this, except the new status ailments, which is good to see. Of course, that's likely Bubble Blight, but hey, Shia might pull out something unique in his real high rank version 2, so let's keep an eye on that. Your new pop-up camp gear and all of that stuff. Basically, as I say, these are your big main features. We also confirmed that the handler will in fact change outfit during the festival, Alma, so that's good too, always a classic little part of the World and Iceborne ones. Then we get to bug fixes and balance adjustments where things get a little bit interesting. So general issues being addressed, that's all well and good, I'll let you read them, just fixes and improvements for the game. However, rest has been essentially nerfed to now costing 500 guild points, except we now get 10% more rewards for investigations, which should essentially balance it out. I'm not really entirely sure of the point of this. I guess it's to make it more costly to spam rest, so you will drain faster, so you go hunt more, and if you're just normally resting the normal amount of time hunting in between, you won't really notice a difference, which I guess inherently does nerf strategies for farming that do involve spam resting, like Night Flower and gold tickets and all of that you can still kind of do, while encouraging regular hunting and making that just feel normal guild point economy-wise, so you can kind of see why here. Increasing the amount of points for your melding, but then that's immediately counteracted by increasing the amount of melding points from the items and rare decorations when using them as melding. So again, that should sort of self-balance, but slightly shift what's sought after when it comes to melding and what base supplies we want to throw into it. We'll have to see how it shakes out. This is rather interesting, and it might be a huge change depending on how it's actually implemented, and certainly one to keep an eye on. Honestly, one of the bigger problems in Wilds, well, I say big, it's fairly minor, it's big inconveniences of Wilds is going fully into your tent. There's quite a bit of time and menus between getting your items back up to speed compared to just an item box right there like in World and Iceborne, so this is very tasty. Then we move over to a couple fixes for missions. Again, just fixes, so good to have, but nothing that's too like, oh my god, they've actually done it. This one is hilarious to me because I didn't even know that was a thing. I mean, if you were affected by that, then yeah, that sucks, but like, the idea of Gravitas attacking you so hard that he shuts your game down is really hilarious. Something like this is interesting. Adjusted the behavior of some monster actions. In what way? Which monster? Which actions? Truly, who knows? But I assume it's only in a positive way. Then this is an absolutely magnificent change, one they said they would look into, but this is a very specific, it's happening, and now with title update 1, the distance between monster and camera has been increased for certain monsters, and then they label the actual main problem child of a gore magala on your face in an iceshard cliff corridor. Hopefully that will make him a lot better to fight, especially when we eventually get an 8-star debit version that is probably going to ruin us. Then we get over to your player stuff, where we get some actual weapons. We get some fixes for something like the hammer for its focus strike, and same with like bowgun with wyvern blast. Lancer's been able to get its finisher after a focus strike easier, as it was having a little bit of trouble with that, so that's nice to see. Other various fixes and so on and so forth. Just a reset to your hunter profile, so quality of life there when you're editing it, that's all well and good, but then we get to some actual kind of meaty changes. Now, most of the weapon buffs and nerfs that are coming should be in the May patch, but some of them, as evidenced, are going to be hitting with title update 1 tonight. The main effect then is some bow stuff. However, heavy bowgun and light bowgun on the back of seikret, I assume that's going to be adjusted downwards, because it is actually a viable meta way for them to play, which is a shame if that's the case, because it is really fun, you know, riding your seikret, shooting your gun, having a great time, and then we get to bow. Dragon Piercer damage has been decreased, that is a shame. It was particularly good, and a pure Dragon Piercer playstyle for the amount of effort involved in pulling it off was ridiculously effective, but it's also ridiculously fun. We'll have to see how severe it is. It does knock your follow-up to your focus strike on the head a little bit, and look, I can't pretend I'm happy about it because I love Dragon Piercer, but I also can't pretend I don't understand it because it is hilariously powerful and can just chain lock down monsters the entire hunt and kill them in minutes. In any case, it does still like kind of blow my mind and amuse me in equal measure that this sort of meme build level attack that we have pushed since it got introduced in World with builds throughout the entire 5th gen in all 4 games is now so good it's getting a nerf. That's just crazy to me, but either way, I will still be very much pushing it and bringing you a title update 1 build for Dragon Piercer. But then we get power volley elemental values going up, which is nice. It's just power value, and elemental hit zones are still kind of so it's not like it's earth-shattering unless it's a massive stratospheric increase, which it won't be, but it is something. Then we have 1,000 dragons going up, again, depending on how much it's up, that's actually quite interesting. There is a build using 1,000 dragons that I have made and used, and it just wasn't quite good enough for me to be worth showing you guys, but this might tip it over the edge, especially as it does take into account your close range and power. Then power shot and power volley, affected by Charge Master, is a nice little uptick, but I would be surprised if it overtakes a decoration slot. Again, it depends just how much it adds, coupled with elemental hit zones and so on, but better is better, so that's at least something. As is both Mending Evasion and Rocksteady, all getting buffs. The damage mitigation on Rocksteady, that's lovely for a bit of immortality, and then Mending and Evasion just lasting longer. Evasion lasting longer is nice too, because Corrupted getting a full 2 minutes was still insane. And talking of Corrupted, I have no idea. We know it's going to be a downward adjustment because they acknowledge it's too powerful, but whether that's in its effectiveness or its duration remains to be seen. Perhaps both. We will of course look, we will test, and we will report back post-title update release for you guys. Then we have opening shots not working with special ammo, and now actually working with special ammo. It's nice, but not like earth-shattering. Then your support hunters are getting a few little fixes, and an adjusted rate to which they use items. items. Whether that's more or less, again, it remains to be seen, and I do think a big takeaway, it would be nice to have a little bit more detail. Like, in some instances, vagueness is fine, because you kind of get what they're going for, and I genuinely enjoy testing this stuff in game and then reporting it back to you guys. I think it's really lovely, doing all the math, getting the numbers, and we do a lot of it extensively, but at the same time, things like this, how do you even test that? Just kind of stare at them for multiple hunts, see what they use and when, and make like a spread, like it. But also, I guess at the same time, you don't really need to know the answer to that because it's kind of a non-factor. Support hunters are awesome, but I don't think they're like a core thing people are really like hanging everything on. In any case, it's just another amusing example of the find then keep your secret style of patch notes. Then we get to some miscellaneousness. Oh, wait, never mind, actually, yeah, this is perhaps really nice. I imagine it's going to be further away, more out the way, and that's just good for general clutter and space. Imagine if we've adjusted it so she stays a foot next to you the entire time. Good luck with that. We heard that you don't like Alma photobombing you or getting in the way while fishing. Well, fuck you. She's now going to stand on top of your head while you hunt. Enjoy. Then we get the confirmation that your login bonus will always give you a barrel bowling voucher, so a little encouragement to go give it a go and get some essentially free rewards. That's really fun, and same with your free meal voucher to use the new canteen in the Grand Hub, which again, really, really nice. Then we have some really hopefully promising changes when it comes to performance. Improvements were made to VRAM usage, and this, in theory, should be helpful. As are a lot of these changes, though not all of them are too crazy, but in theory, performance should get a little bit better for those that are suffering come this title update, and that's always really nice to see. Then we head down to some more fixes for your quests, which is nice, just make the experience smoother and better all round as we go through it, and this stuff is always just good to have coming in. And then finally, your miscellaneous, like fixed other miscellaneous issues. I'm glad they're fixed, I think, I hope. Yes? In any case, let it be known that they're definitely fixed. So, there you have it then. That is that. Oh, and I guess the ore on Seikret's actually not bad when you're out gathering. So that is the general kind of quick look at the changes that we're getting. A lot of stuff will be tested more in depth. A lot of stuff's looking very promising. And honestly, I think it's just going to be a marvelously large, impactful title update. And I, for one, cannot wait. We will, of course, be bringing you all of the things about everything to do with it in due course. So stick around and you will reap the rewards of that. For now then, let me know what you're most looking forward to. Again, it's just hours away. Like you've enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more. Consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below. And until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.